So after hundreds of comments, thank you for your feedback for this second season here at Leeds. I have a short list. Well, it's more of a long list, to be completely honest. Unfortunately, the realism mod hasn't been able to be reinstated as of recording of this episode 2. I'm hoping that by the time I record or come around to recording episode 3 tomorrow, I'm recording this the day before you see it, so I'll be when I say tomorrow, it'll be the day you're watching this. I'm going to be recording Friday's video. I'm hoping that the realism mod will be back in effect in this save. I have had some feedback from other PC players saying that you guys have played with the increased challenge to ultimate difficulty, and that actually it is a significant change, and you found it a lot more difficult. So whether they've actually tweaked it slightly or just artificially boosted everybody's stats to 99 like they have done on Ultimate Team, I'm not sure. We'll find out today because we'll be playing at least 1 or 2 games today. Burnley and Watford are the 2 nearest games to us. One really frustrating thing about not having the realism mod is player values are altered. A lot of them are lower than they ordinarily would be, although alternatively some of them are higher than they should be. And B, it's going to take forever to scout some people. I've got a number of players on my shortlist that it's going to take up to 24 days to scout, that with the realism mod it would only take 6 to 8 days. So a number of the names on this list might take a while to scout, and by the time they've been scouted they might have signed for someone else, but unfortunately that's out of my control. Either I record this video now without the realism mod, or you go 2, potentially 3 days without a video, and that's not acceptable. So I'm going to make a couple of signings today, hopefully, and then we'll push forward. I'm not going to spam the squad with loads of new signings. That's not the plan with this window. I know that's always the fear when you go into a second season, when you get promoted, you just replace everybody and then artificially fly up the table. That's not my plan. I want this to be a challenge. Now, you guys initially have said yes. I'll go through everybody else. You guys initially have said yes to trying to sign Ben White back. So I am going to try and do that now. And we'll get this deal done and out the way. You'd also like me to try and sign Jack Clark back, although initially perhaps maybe on a loan, and I'd be open to that. I don't know what Brighton would want for Ben White. Thankfully, not much. I'm hoping to be able to get these guys on relatively low fees, so we can maximise what we can do in the window with regards going for other players. I'll accept 11.6, that's good enough. And he's currently on £33,000 a week at Brighton. Of course, I am going to need to leave some money left over wage-wise to refresh contracts of other players I've got at my club myself that are running low on contracts and need theirs to be improved. So I'm going to say important. If he wants Crucial, though, he can have it. Of course, Ben White was superb for me last year and certainly one of the best centre-backs we had, and I'll guarantee him that crucial role then. The length of contract, obviously, I want as long as possible. I'm hoping they give me an idea of what they want wage-wise. No release clause is fine by me. Now, give me what you want wage-wise. 40,000. That is an increase on what he's on. I'll remove the bonus, and hopefully they'll just accept that. I'm quite happy to pay 40,000, and 40,000 is what we have paid. He is in then. So that's one player certainly signed. Now, Jack Clark, how does a right mid? Currently valued at 2.8 million. I'm going to try and loan him first, and they are open to a loan. Now, this helps because obviously he would be valued a lot higher. Perhaps I should have loaned Ben White, thinking about it, but too late now. He would be valued a lot higher if it were the realism mod. So if I loan him for 2 years, I'd like to loan him for 2 if I can, then I can look to buy him later. They are happy to let him come to me for a 2-year loan, which is fine. And wage-wise, if they'll let me pay minimal, that would be great. 60-40, a lot of times clubs just go, no, we want 100%, but the fact they're willing to negotiate actually makes me more willing to negotiate myself, and I'm quite happy to pay 50% of Jack Clark's wages. Those two, provided he accepts joining us on loan, are now back at the club then. Now, Jairo Riedewald, that does unfortunately mean for him that he's going to drop back out of the starting lineup, but I'm not too fussed about that. I think that's a good move for us. Very pleased with that, and hopefully we can see ourselves be rock solid defensively, or as solid as possible defensively, in the Premier League this season. Now, with regards to the other positions, we're looking for a goalkeeper to replace Kiko Casilla, who's really poor. We're looking for a potential left back. We're looking for a potential right back. We've got our centre-back, a centre-mid, and maybe a striker and definitely a winger. So there are a number of places to look at. Now, I've got a number of names on this shortlist here. Henderson, I could loan him. Rather understandably, some people saying, loan a goalkeeper now, continue to train our young previous season scout future star who was the goalkeeper, and then eventually he can take over. I agree, that is definitely one option. The alternative is to buy a more experienced goalkeeper in his 30s or later who will age out by the time that the youngster can take over, and then also that means I then don't have another goalkeeper that's higher rated itching to start when I've got my youngster. So if I sign someone like Joel Robles, for example, then by the time in a season and a half's time when Engel can step up, Joel Robles isn't going to be wanting to start every week at the age of 32, for example. Now obviously with teams like Stoke being still in the Championship, and with West Ham, Leicester and Wolves getting relegated, we do have a number of their players on this shortlist suggested by you guys. Now, I'm leaning towards Gazaniga because he's transfer listed currently at Tottenham. So I think that would be a very good move for us. He's 28, so would be 30, 31 by the time Engel's in a position to take over as first team keeper. I'm leaning towards that. He's not very expensive either. So because he's on the transfer list, I think that's a realistic move for us. And he was mentioned in the comment section as well. You guys thought I could go for this. So I am going to try and get Gazaniga. And if I can't, then I'll perhaps look to loan Dean Henderson. But I shall offer a try. Actually, would they be interested in taking Kiko off my hands? Do you want Kiko Casilla? Please say yes. They do! Ha ha! 2 birds, 1 stone. If I can get him a little bit cheaper, that would be great. I'd rather not spend everything. 6.8, if they're willing to come down from there, that would be even better. 5.5 maybe, because I'm not going to get much for Kiko Casilla anyway. Sweet! Gazaniga, what's he on wage wise in there? 53. I'd like to think that he'd be willing to take a wage cut to get first team football at a smaller club. I'll say important. He wants crucial. I mean, a lot of players that we're going to be signing from the Premier League level are going to want crucial because they're coming to a side that are getting promoted, and they would imagine that they are the best player in that position at the club coming in. Gazaniga would be. Ben White is as well. 37, so he is willing to take quite a wage cut. However, £1.9 million bonus is not something I'm willing to sign on for. £46,000 a week is a big jump, so we shall try and get him for 41,000, and we'll see if he'll sign that, which they will. Good. This is a good start. We have a new goalkeeper. We have a new old centre-back. We're working our way through really well already. Now let me sort by position there. So I'm going to now remove these goalkeepers. Robles, Butland, Meslier, Stefan, Unnerstall and Dean Henderson. Now, at right back, we have a number of options. I've got a number of former Leeds players on this list as well. With Jan Valery at Southampton, Dodo was already there from last year. He's great physically, not that good technically. Don't know if he's really going to be good enough. Sam Byram, former Leeds player, currently at Norwich. John Joe Kenny was out on loan from Everton last year at Schalke. Back at the club now, maybe would be open to a move. Luke Matheson was... he's 16 in real life, 17 now in the save. Obviously, played really well in the FA Cup recently for Rochdale. Ryan Fredericks was another player recommended at right back from a relegated side. You'll see a number of West Ham, Wolves and Leicester players in this team. Now, at centre-back, I have Ben White now. And, of course, Liam Cooper. And, what's his name? The Dutchman. His name escapes me. I would be open to loaning someone else, though. Now, Per Schurz is supposed to be half decent. I don't know if he's going to be good enough to be involved in my starting lineup, though. Gyro Riedewald, his name just came to me. Jack O'Connell from Sheffield United. I don't know anything about him. Bjorn Engels was very good for me on FIFA 19 when I did an Aston Villa career mode on stream. So I'm keen to see what he's like. And then Van Drongelen, I don't know anything about him either. But he might be... I mean, Cardiff might be open to loaning him up a division. I'm not sure. Similarly, within the division. And then, obviously, abroad for Schurz. We'll wait and see. At left back, Danny Rose is transfer listed and an ex-Leeds player. Now, I didn't know he was an ex-Leeds player until you guys told me in the comment section. Whilst he's transfer listed, I think that could be a very good option to go for. So, yeah, I am going to do it. I am going to do it. And then I think, outside of maybe loaning a winger and potentially a striker, we might be done with the transfer window for now, if we can get this deal done. Now, I'll offer an initial fee of... Oh, I almost offered £750,000 then. I'll offer £7.5 million. He's transfer listed, so I'd like to think they'll want a little less. You want £12 million for a guy who's on the transfer list valued at 9 million. I'm not paying that. I'm not paying 12.1. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. We may have to wait for the return of the realism mod to sign Danny Rose, because then it would factor in the fact that he is on the transfer list. You're going to take some time. Yep, can't wait for you to come back and say no then. Moving further through the list, I do have other left back options. Jamal Lewis supposedly is pretty decent. I went for scout reports on him, and Ian Munoz and Jonathan Panzo, an Englishman at Monaco. I don't know anything about him. I never even heard the name before. With regards to central midfielders, potential Pele, you saw him. You saw me add him to the list yesterday. Fabian Delph is a former Leeds player that could come back to the club. Could certainly do a job as a returning experienced professional to a team that have just come up from the Premier or from the Championship. Ronaldo Vieira is a player that was at Leeds, and Leeds fans, I'm sure, would love to see him back at the club if we can sort that out. I'm probably not going to go for Ferguson or Turnbull. James Milner did say in real life, apparently, if Leeds got promoted, he would go back to the club. Now, it depends on what his stats look like as to whether I make that a reality or not, because obviously he's 34. I'm expecting his stats to have dropped. Technically, it's going to be superb, I would imagine, but physically, we wait and see. We wait and see. I've also got a young Szymon Żakowski. James Ward-Prowse, Lewis Cook, another former Leeds player, spent a long time out injured recently in real life, so hasn't been playing first team football for Bournemouth. Could look to sign him back to the club. John McGinn is a good all-rounder. Morgan Gibbs-White is another good youngster we could bring in. Philip Billing is another one at Bournemouth, and obviously Leander Dendoncker as well is another good player who actually could fill in two roles, centre-back and CDM, or centre-mid, and of course from relegated Wolves, similarly to Gibbs-White. Now, Todd Cantwell was recommended as a potential winger. I am looking for a left wing, not left mid, or right wing. So I could maybe loan him. He's at Spurs, obviously. I'm not sure when that deal went through. Not this season, evidently. But Mateus Pereira was another player that was recommended. Was at West Brom on loan previously. Eze, Richie Eze is a potential player for us too. Again, though, a left mid, not a left wing. So I'm unsure at this stage. Pedro Neto is a player that has really impressed me in real life when he's played for Wolves. He looks very lively, so I'm intrigued to see what his stats look like. Adama Traore is having a great season for Wolves IRL. I'd be open to that as well. Pedro De La Vega is in the comment section of everyone's career mode videos ever, so he's back on the list, although how keen I am on signing him at this stage of a save, I'm not sure. Rafael Camacho, again, I know nothing about him, but we'll wait and see. And then I have a number of strikers. Jovan Markovic, don't know anything about him. Erling Braut Haaland, obviously, isn't the most realistic at present because he's having a stellar season at Salzburg in real life and might not consider moving to a club like Leeds at this stage, unless you factor in the fact that he was born in Leeds, his dad played for Leeds. Maybe it is a realistic signing. I would like to get him to the club at some point in the save, but whether this is the moment for that signing, I'm still unsure. I'll wait for your feedback. Ollie Watkins is a young player we could bring to the... Well, you say young, he's 24 now. Player we could bring to the club from a division below who's probably going to be effective at the Premier League level. Benedetto is a 5-star weak foot, supposedly very good physically. I'm not sure what his stats are going to look like. Danny Ings, obviously, is good enough at the Premier League level. In game, in real life, he's banging it right now. Mason Greenwood is a loan option, of course. Aaron Connelly is a loan option. Oh, he's only just joined us, so I was hoping that went through last year. I'm not sure whether we could do that. I might be able to loan him, I might not. Not sure. Che Adams is linked in real life with a move to Leeds. Heavily linked in real life. Apparently, the only reason they haven't been able to get it through yet, apparently the board are on board. Che Adams wants to go, but the Southampton manager, Hasenhüttl, wants to keep him at the club for squad depth. So maybe we could go for him in this save, even if it doesn't go through in real life. Then we have a couple of other wingers here. Ben Rama at Brentford. Ivan Caballero, relegated with Wolves, probably better than Helder Costa. Ryan Kent at Rangers, an Englishman springing back south of the border. Robin Hack, I know nothing about him, but he's apparently comes with a good reputation from you guys. And then Harvey Barnes, obviously, is a young player that's been relegated with Leicester and could be open to us with regards to transfer. So I've made potentially three signings already. We'll wait and see. I am desperate for a striker, though, to be completely honest, and to get rid of a couple of the other strikers that we've got at the club. A number of players were looking to move on. Jack Clark has rejected the loan move, so I may have to try and buy him. Oh, they're still adamant they want 12.1 million for Danny Rose, and I do not want to pay that much money for a 30-year-old that's transfer listed. It would still be arguably a decent deal, but I'm not sure I can... Whoa, not 90. That's the wrong tab, Ches. Bloody hell. Imagine if I accidentally offered them 90 million. They're starting to come down, but only by £100,000. Come on. He's transfer listed. Just let me buy him on the cheap. 11.6. We're getting there. As a former Leeds player and someone who has Premier League experience, I think this is a realistic move that we could do. It would mean that Alioski would be available further up the field then. I am going to need him to want to come down wage-wise, and quite heavily too. £70,000 a week for a club that's just got promoted from the Championship is not a realistic wage. Going to need him to want to be on 40-ish at the max. He wants crucial as well. Keeping everybody happy is going to be an issue if we have so many players on crucial deals. I don't expect him to sign a full... Oh, okay, he's going to sign a full. Fair enough. We'll take him. No release clause is fine by me. £54,000 a week. I'm going to remove the 2 million bonus. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm going to try and do it because he's a former Leeds player with experience that isn't... go on then. Fine. Danny Rose comes back to Leeds United. That's 3 signings. Gazaniga, Ben White, Danny Rose, and I am going to now try and buy Jack Clark if it lets me. Or I'm sure it will let me, but I'll have to wait a couple of days. Liam Cooper's... Yes, I know Liam Cooper's transfer requested. I'm trying to remove him from the transfer list. You won't let me. Now, someone said that Patrick Bamford could be removed from the list. So I'm going to try and do that. And it will let me remove Patrick Bamford. That's good news. Can I do the same with Pablo Hernandez? Probably not, because his morale's still very unhappy. Hopefully, we can improve his morale. A transfer offer for Barry Douglas. Just going to accept. I'm not going to be able to negotiate much more than that in any other scenario. Mateusz Bogusz. Apparently, he can grow into quite the player, so we will only send him on loan. Pablo Hernandez. Yes, I know. I can't do anything. I'm trying to keep him at the club. So frustrating. Barry Douglas is sold. That's good news. Real Sociedad have offered for Liam Cooper. I don't want to sell my captain. If the board... Basically, I'm going to be as stubborn as I possibly can. And then if the board sell him for me, then it's out of my control. But I'm going to try and keep those players at the club if I possibly can. Now, I should be able to go back in for Clark now. A loan offer for Louis Coyle. Apparently, he's been sold in real life, so I might reject that loan offer and actually take Louis Coyle off the loan list and add him to the transfer list at your guys' request. So, where are you, Louis Coyle? Remove from the loan list. I will add him to the transfer list and we'll move him on permanently rather than temporarily. Now, Jack Clark. I want to try and sign you again, please. Can I actually buy you now? I'm not sure if it will let me. It will. Valued at 2.8 million. He rejected the loan move. If I can buy him permanently, then that would be great. Let's decide what deal we want to pursue. I don't expect them to be too hasty with the fee. No, 3 million is fine. Jack Clark will come back to us then. I'm delighted with that. He's on 19 grand a week. He probably want a boost. Although he only wants rotation. That's actually very good. 5-year deal is fine by me. We're getting some really good deals done here. Now, yes, we are signing a number of players, but a lot of them are players that are coming back to the club, either from previous loan spells or from earlier on in their career. So I don't feel like I'm overly flooding. I don't know what to do wage-wise. Okay, that's fine. I didn't know whether they were just going to walk away from that or whether they'd sign it. or whether I'd massively overbid. I'm happy with that. So, I mean, to be fair, I did say I have a lot of positions I want to improve in. We've already got Jared Bowen in. Now we've got Jack back as well. Let me throw Danny Rose into the starting lineup actually, and Jack Clark can go onto the bench for Stuart Dallas. And oh, that's not where that was supposed to go. Naliowski can go onto the bench as my backup wing back, or as a wing back. Right, now I do still desperately need a striker. We just sort these positions out, and then we'll go and have a look at those scout reports that have started to come back. I'm hoping that we can arrange a deal with someone fairly quickly with regards to striking and or centre mid role. I'm actually quite keen on maybe bringing Milner in now. The more I think about it, the more it might be quite cool to bring Milner back to the club. Lewis Cook has had a scout report come back and he's 78 rated. He'd be really decent. Jack O'Connell, the centre back. I'm not necessarily looking for a centre back now. Maybe I'll wait for the report actually on that guy from Ajax. Is it Ajax or PSV? I'm not sure. James Ward-Prowse will be superb for the level that we're playing at right now, as would John McGinn. But we'll hold out. Bagusha's gone out on loan. We'll hold out maybe for James Milner, and maybe I'll lean towards older players so that my younger players, when they get ready or when they've grown, can just step into the starting lineup. Right, I've advanced forward, just waiting for loads more scout reports to come in. Some have, some haven't. So what I'm going to do is jump into this game against Burnley, attend the press conference just to see if we can't give morale a little bit of a boost ahead of our first ever Premier League game here at Leeds United. What I might do throughout the course of this first season in the Premier League is use throwback images in the thumbnail and put old Leeds United players that were in the Premier League as the thumbnail cover stars. Obviously used Mark Viduka for the first episode yesterday. Can your team win the relegation battle? We are prepared to fight. However, I don't yet know how difficult it's going to be with this increased challenge to the difficulty setting. After Rose's acquisition from Spurs, fans are eagerly awaiting to see him grace field. What do you expect from his debut? He'll be good for the team. I think Danny Rose will be very solid for us, hopefully. And Gazaniga's transfer, what do we expect to see from his first game against Burnley? I think he'll be good. He'll prove he's the right man to replace Kiko Casilla. Obviously got the Golden Glove last year, but we weren't too keen on him. There are a couple of people that were defending him in the comment section, but the majority were of the same opinion as well. Obviously, football is all about opinions, but the majority were of my opinion that really wasn't that good. So Burnley actually is a really good game to start the Premier League season with, because they're a side that you would expect us to be challenging with for the rest of the season. So we'll see if they're any good and how we play against them with this new difficulty setting. They'll play in their away kit. So it's going to put Tyler Roberts up. So what I'm going to do is move Jack Marriott there and actually start Jack Clark. Let me put Tyler Wright on the bench. So I'm still looking for another central midfielder, a winger and a striker, but I'm probably leaning towards loan deals now. I don't want to just buy 10 players. Although, to be fair, Aston Villa did that, and Fulham have done that in the past couple of years. And it actually hasn't worked that well for them, as it happens, but it's not too unrealistic for me to get promoted from the Championship and sign a number of new players with the influx of cash that you get. But I'm going to try not to do it too much in this first Premier League season here at Leeds. Let's see what Burnley's lineup looks like. Burnley's starting lineup then. Nick Pope in goal, as you would imagine. Matthew Lowton, Ben Gibson, Dino Peric and Eric Peters. Jeff Hendrick, Jack Cork, Ashley Westwood and Dwight McNeil on the left, with Fedor Chalov up top alongside Ashley Barnes. Naki Wells on the bench. Aaron Lennon on the bench, former Leeds player again. We'll see what Burnley have to offer then. One other thing actually, I've slightly adjusted Calvin Phillips' position so that he's registered in the formation as a CDM, so that hopefully will help his growth, because it's now registering him as playing in the right position. That was pointed out to me in the comment section as well, so hopefully that works too. We'll wait and see how time progresses, but Jared Bowen on the left, my first time using him. Danny Rose at left back, my first time using him. And of course, Gazaniga in goal. Time for our Premier League debut. Oh my God. Jeff Hendrick played clean through. Nice block by White. immediately, I've noticed the attacking ability and physicality and pace of all of the Burnley players. I don't know, out of curiosity, if I select sides and go to Burnley. Oh, okay. Let me try this then. If I do that, are all of the Burnley players' stats boosted? Apparently not. Although, I'm sure, judging by the way that they've rushed me there and just bumped me off as if I'm not even made of flesh and muscle and bone, I think the way they've gone about the stat boost or the difficulty improvements is by just artificially boosting the AIs. Look at the way they're moving, man. They've all got 99 stats by the looks of things. Look how fast they're going. It's so much quicker than any of my players. Just even they're jockeying almost as quickly as I'm sprinting here. Oh, that is a poor challenge. Jared Bowen caught there. If that is the case, then this is going to be one hell of a challenge to try and keep Leeds United up. Because if players that ordinarily were pretty slow are going to be absolutely rapid, and players that ordinarily were pretty weak are now absolutely monstrous with regards to their physicality, this is going to be the hardest season of my entire career mode campaign. And what I'm going to do, because it feels that way, what I'm going to do is edit my game settings, and I'm going to change these back to default. Because even in the first half an hour of this first game, I can tell, you can feel that the AI on Ultimate are just going to be so powerful and so quick, so good in the tackle that they don't need any artificial help from sliders. This is going to be pretty mental, I think, as a first season here. I'm not sure if this is going to work for EA with regards making Ultimate difficulty more difficult. But time will tell. It might be an adjustment period. We might get relegated. Or we might stay up by the skin of our teeth. Hopefully, we have the level of entertainment that we had in the first season with the level of drama we had in the first season at Southampton on FIFA 18 when we were trying to stay in the Premier League. But the way the AI are playing right now, it's going to be bloody mental. Chalov over the top looking for Ashley Barnes, and he is uncatchable. Good save, Gazaniga. Ashley Barnes was straight up uncatchable there. Might have to drop my line. Adjusting to this new difficulty is going to be a massive change. When you guys play with it and you guys feel the difference, it's going to be unbelievable. It will be the challenge. It might not be realistic with the fact that Ashley Barnes is now 99 acceleration, 99 sprint speed, but it will certainly be the challenge that we've been asking for from career mode. Whether it's a realistic challenge or not, it's going to be a challenge. Forward in there to Pablo Hernandez. Phillips forward to Jared Bowen again. Jack Clark trying to hold off the attentions of the defender. Jesus Christ, this is difficult. Jack Marriott caught maybe. Jack Clark, the man who scored the goal that put us in the Premier League. This is just so difficult. I would imagine though, that if they have artificially boosted everybody's, like, the AI stats to 99, then every team you play against will be the same. So it won't be a case of like having an easy game against lower rated opposition or lower performing opposition, i.e. those that are towards the bottom of the league. Like, every team you play is going to play like a 99 rated team. So it's going to be a phenomenally ridiculous challenge, but one that, at least at present, I'm willing to rise to. Hendrick crosses into the middle. Can we win that header? Yes, Luke Ayling does well. Eric Peters gets that first though. Peters through to Westwood. Westwood with a shot. Gazaniga with a relatively comfortable save. First chance of the second half goes Burnley's way. I'd be happy with a point here at home against Burnley. I can't quite believe I'd be saying that, but the way this game is going so far, I would be happy with a point from this fixture. Jared Bowen trying to hold off the man that's with him. One good thing on the counter is that, yes, they have 99 everything, which also means they have 99 aggression. I have had a number of extra bookings from the AI in this game so far. Look at this, just the pace and the dribbling ability. It's insane. 10 minutes into the second half, Burnley have themselves a free kick here. Fedor Chalov is going off. Ashley Barnes will take this free kick now. Oh, it's gone straight into the stand. Jack Cork driving into the space. I can't keep up with him. I'm not going to be able to keep up with anyone. Good block. Get rid of it. I've got some changes that have been made. Jamie Shackleton is now on. Tyler Roberts is now on too. We'll wait and see if we can get ourselves anything from this game with these changes. Not able to get in behind there. Jack Cork out to Eric Peters. Scoop down the line, and McNeil gets under control and into the middle, but Ben White heads away. Aidan White, didn't he used to be a left back for Leeds? I might be mistaken there. My brain is recalling an Aidan White. Sheffield United have scored against Villa. It's 2-1 in that game. We're going to be challenging with them, I would imagine, in the relegation battle. At least with the changes made to the difficulty, you're guaranteed a relegation battle this season, because I don't think we're going to be getting anywhere near mid to the top half with things being like this. But so far, I haven't really been able to create much of an opportunity. Take what I'm saying here about the difficulty with a pinch of salt. This is my first game against it, and it always feels difficult. Oh, what a header. It always feels ridiculous when you play a new game on a much higher difficulty. So I haven't yet adjusted as to how to beat the AI. When I first took a step from world class to legendary back on like FIFA 11, I was like, oh, this is so unfair, I just can't do it, etc, etc. All it's going to take is a learning phase of how to beat the AI on this new Ultimate. But whilst we do that, we will be losing a handful of games, so be prepared for frustrated, angry Cheesenoid. But it is what it is. You play against what you've got, and Burnley look like they're going to get themselves a 1-0 win here, thanks to that header at the back post. Hendrick down the line to Jack Cork. Turns and delivers well. Oh, McNeil! Whoa! Nearly, ever so nearly 2-0 in spectacular fashion. We are moments away from the final whistle here at the end of our first Premier League game. And it's been quite the welcome to the Premier League from Burnley. Quite the welcome indeed. Jared Bowen with a nice turn there. Here's Jack Marriott. Gets that off to Tyler Roberts. Trying to get it through the gap. I thought I was going to get one more opportunity. My decision making wasn't good enough there. It's a 1-0 defeat on the opening day of the Premier League season with Leeds United. And like I say, do take what I'm saying about the difficulty with a pinch of salt until A, I've played more, B, you've played it yourself, and we both have more experience with this new difficulty. But it is significantly more difficult. Time for a post-match press conference. Rose has put in a good performance. He certainly did, but he can do more. Only created one chance in that entire game there. Somewhat disenchanting performance from Clark as he failed to make an impression. Let's keep things realistic. He's only 70 rated. He's not going to be setting the world alight anyway. Gazaniga did okay. He made a couple of good saves. Was perhaps unfortunate with the cross that it just kind of looped over him for their goal. Good strong header at the back post by the man that scored their goal. Stay grounded, Tyler. Stay grounded. And Patrick Bamford is on his way back from injury as well, which is good news. Now, I'll advance towards the Watford game. I'm not sure whether I'm going to play that in today's episode. I might wait for A, more feedback from you with regards loans, transfers in the striking and wide areas, and B, well, let me see if I get my scout reports back as well for players like James Milner. I want to see, because I'm not sure what his stats are going to look like. I'm going to want your feedback there as well, I think. Aha! Speaking of scout reports, give me a moment. Right, so I've gone through, removed everybody I definitely don't want, and I need your feedback again for the next episode. I'm not going to record any more until I've had it. Right back options, Ryan Fredericks, rapid, which would certainly help with the fact that the AI are going to be quick now, and would be pointless to be trained because he's 27, but would probably be good enough in the tackle. John Joe Kenny's 23, could be trained. He's not as fast, evidently, but probably just as good technically, if not nearly as good technically, other than the passing, I think. Yeah, passing, Brian Fredericks is better. I'm leaning towards Fredericks because he's cheaper and he's quicker, but up to you. If you see someone else comment one of these names and you agree, feel free to leave your own comment, but also thumbs up the comments of everybody else that's commented, or a couple of other people's, those that are rising to the top, of those people's whose you agree with as well. That way, the more popular ones will rise to the top of the comment section for me. Per Schurz. I like the look of this kid. I'm going to try and loan him. I think with a 2-year loan, this could be a great signing for us. Okay. With a 1-year loan, I think this could be a perfect signing for us. I'd love to sign him for 2, but they're not going to let him come out for 2. Maybe we'll be in a position to buy him next year. He's not on much wage-wise, but I'll try and save as much money as I possibly can. 60-40. Fine. So I think that would be a great signing for us if he decides that he wants to come. Centre mid-wise, this is where I need your feedback, because if I can't get Schurz, then Dendoncker fills both roles, and he'd probably be my front runner. As a centre mid / centre back, can play everywhere. James Milner, I actually think I might go for, but I want your feedback. Fabian Delph would also, as a former Leeds player who's got experience and is a decent professional at this level, also looks like a decent player. Ronaldo Vieira also looks pretty capable physically. Technically would need training. I don't know if I can commit to training more players with the amount of youngsters I'm already training. So I'm not sure. Lewis Cook looks like he's kind of a better Ronaldo Vieira. He's not as good physically, but technically he's more advanced. So, in fact, on that evidence, I'm going to remove Ronaldo Vieira. Lewis Cook, Dendong. I'm leaning Milner, Delph / Cook, Dendoncker. But if I'm not able to get Schurz, I'd probably lean Milner, Dendoncker. Because obviously Milner's not going to last that long because he's 34. So I'm leaning Milner, Dendoncker. With regards to the winger role, I have Adama. Obviously he's phenomenal physically. He's an absolute specimen. Technically, great dribbling, good ball control. Not that good anywhere else. Ryan Kent, fast. Technically decent, could grow. Will grow, has potential of 82. Ivan Cavallero, and also he's got a 5-star weak foot. Adama Traore only has a 2-star weak foot. Ivan Cavallero, quick, stronger than Ryan Kent, better physically than Ryan Kent, basically. Kent is slightly faster and more agile, but Cavallero is stronger, so that probably outweighs that. And technically, he's probably better as well, although passing could do with being a little bit higher. So I'm unsure there. In fact, I'm probably going to take Traore off. Kent or Cavallero. So you've got Kent or Cavallero. You've got Fredericks or John Joe Kenny. Yes or no to James Milner. Striker-wise, Greenwood I could loan. I don't want to buy Mason Greenwood. I don't want to buy him because I'm looking for a crucial starting player for that managerial objective. So if I get Greenwood, it would be only on loan, and I don't think I want to loan him. And if we get a winger, that means I'd have Patrick Bamford and Jack Marriott play through the middle only. I'd have enough wide players, so I might not even need a striker. Haaland, I'm looking to sign in a later window. Don't think signing him now is the right move. I'm going to wait for him. So it's basically buy Che Adams or loan Mason Greenwood. And I think Mason Greenwood would win that vote just because he's the popular in-form man right now. But Che Adams is a genuine target for Leeds in real life. In fact, I'm going to take that decision out of your hands. I'm going to buy Che Adams now. I might still look for Mason Greenwood later down the line, depending on what happens. If Patrick Bamford isn't good enough for this level, if Jack Marriott isn't good enough for this level, then I might look to loan him in at a later date. But, did it again. But I reckon Che Adams is a player that we should certainly look to sign, especially considering he's heavily rumoured in real life. So I think that makes sense from my perspective, and obviously isn't massively good, so it would make sense from a newly promoted side position as well. Now it depends what he wants wage-wise. I'm actually going to counter that and offer him crucial purely for the managerial objective, because I need to turn those onto my side because my manager rating is dropping still because of the morale of some of the players. £35,000 a week is agreeable. I'll remove the bonus though, and I'll pay up to 42. 40 is fine by me. Right. Now you know exactly then how much money I have left to spend on a right back, a centre mid and a winger, and it's not much. It's really not much. 23 odd million pounds. 25 probably at most. Oh, I'm really not sure what's going to happen here, to be honest. I'm not going to be able to bring in everybody I want to. I think Che Adams is going to go into the starting lineup. And I'm looking to sign a winger before I play the game against Watford to come in and start there ahead of Jack Marriott, and he'll go onto the bench as well, probably. We're in a difficult spot with not much money. Ah, good. My manager rating was 55. It's gone up to 68 now, and it won't be long until we've done the other brand exposure one as well. So that's great news. That's great news. Okay, I'm happier now with where we are, but I need your feedback before I can record any further. So to be fair, I could play this Watford game, but I'll save that for another episode. I'll save that for tomorrow because I'm pushed for time right now. Right then, that's where we'll end today. It's been a whirlwind of a welcome to the Premier League, especially with the patch to the difficulty. But again, I implore you, take my feedback. That was my literal initial raw first impressions. Take that with a pinch of salt. It's going to take a few games to figure out how best to play against the AI, where like we might need to change formation, change play style. Don't take what you saw there as a raw first impression as what the rest of the season is going to be like, because it won't be like that. Oh, that was an absolute whirlwind welcome to the Premier League. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed. Please leave me your feedback in the comment section. I will see you tomorrow.